Hi, I'm Tinker Barnett with Youth Enterprises, and here with me today are John and Alicia Renfro of Renfro Design in Fort Collins, Colorado. And they are an entrepreneurial team. They have designs in Colorado, throughout the country, and in a couple of other countries in the world now. They have written a book, Experiencing Home, a guide to finding joy in your home. So let's hear about their business. So tell us about your company, Renfro Design.
Renfro Design is primarily residential architecture. I design custom homes for the most part. I do basic drafting needs as well, or additions and remodels, but most of my income is designing of custom homes. A little bit of commercial work, but not much. And with technology today as it is with the use of the internet, I also do have some income based on selling plans, existing plans that people would purchase over the internet. Mm-hmm. So that's basically it.
Okay. Why did you start your business as a business for yourself, and then what made you stay in it as your own business?
I've been inclined and enjoyed designing, drafting since I was in high school, and as I got out of college, I have a degree in interior design. As I got out of college, I started to work in the construction industry, kind of on a perimeter job to the construction industry, and started developing a lot of contacts, and started to get to know builders and designers. And when I was working at the lumber store, this construction job, I was a salesman, so I would take the blueprints and do takeoffs for lumber and windows and trim, and so I'm reading a lot of blueprints for houses and seeing them and telling myself, I can do this, I can do exactly what they're doing. So I started doing it a little bit on the side while still keeping the job at the lumber company, and then an opportunity presented itself that just decided it was time to go do it on my own and not have the 9-to-5 job and the boss and the having to go to work and all that kind of thing. I just decided it was time to stay at home.
So for freedom, you would say was your personal freedom was a big piece of that?
Yeah, I mean the design industry in itself kind of promotes doing it on your own. In a lot of ways, because you're either with a firm or you do it yourself. Okay. And in the residential design aspect, particularly compared to maybe large commercial architecture firms, doing it yourself is more common than not, in just doing it out of your home. But it still was a step of faith for us to leave that salary paid position, sure, and go after something that was solely based on whatever income I could produce. Yeah. So
a lot of uncertainty, though.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's a going into business for yourself is a risk. It's a step of faith. It's determining, do I have something to give to the marketplace, and can I compete with other people that are doing it? So before going into it, saying, can I do this at a price that other people are doing it for, or even better? Therefore, I can compete. If I know going in I'm going to be a whole lot more expensive than the next guy, that risk is that much worse, because mm-hmm. you're not going to necessarily compete in the marketplace. So. There's no question. I left health insurance. I left a take-home vehicle. I left a salary with a very stable lumber company. A nationwide company, and could be there today still. I know if I wanted to be, and went to a place where I had to produce my own income and find my own insurance and start paying for our car.
And that's where Alicia comes in, right? Paying for things and getting the insurance set up and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, she's in many ways, I would argue, the business side of things.
Okay.
I do business with a client and establish the contract and sign the contract with the client, but Alicia definitely handles, our bills and all of the money side of things, definitely.
So why would you stay? Why did you? There must have been some very important things and reasons that you stayed with this.
I think just John being able to be successful at that has allowed him to do what he loves, but it's been wonderful in the sense that we've been able to have a family and be a big part of that, and we are able to juggle our schedules so that if I need to do something, he can be around with the kids or vice versa.
So you work out of your home.
We work out of our home.
And you also homeschool in your home. Busy place.
It's a very busy place. It's a little like Grand Central Station at times, but we love it, and the freedom it has given us to be a family and for our kids to see our business and learn some business rules themselves. And it's just been an amazing thing for John too, because he's been able to have a life outside of work and be part of the community in his church and do things like that.
Yeah, I love the opportunity to be able to take the middle of a day off because it's a beautiful spring day, knowing that maybe I have to work later that night, to keep up with the deadline or whatever. Just the freedoms, and especially because it ties to our choosing to homeschool, that in itself also offers freedom for our overall schedules of vacations or time away. And I can't imagine having to clock in and clock out again, and have a boss giving me stuff to do. It's been nearly 12 years, and I just can't imagine going back to that.
Yeah. And the next question is about success, and I think you've touched on that. It sounds to me like your success is more than your six-figure business right now. It's success with your family and the lifestyle that you desire, and you've been able to create that. That's...
Yeah, I mean, yes, absolutely. I look at success much more than just my income. I mean, obviously that's a huge part of it, living in a culture that requires money. We have to make money, we have to work for money, we have to buy things and insure ourselves, and all of those things this culture requires. But success to me is having joy in what you're doing.
Okay.
I mean, if you make 6 or 7 or 8 figures yet you're miserable doing it, you're not successful, in my opinion. And there's all kinds of books written out there about success and what it means, but I love what I do. I love every aspect of my job, from the creative part to the constructive part to the structural part to the sitting with clients to being on a job site in the dead of winter. It's all fun for me. And that's easy to be successful. Then the income doesn't matter. I mean, I need to pay my bills, but if it's easy to get up and want to do every day, and with a smile, then success is simple.
Excellent. So what advice would you have, both of you, for young people thinking about that maybe they'd like to have their own business? What would you say to them?
I think a common theme you've probably heard already is just the fact that you need to find something that you love, something that you're good at, and then go after it. And I think being willing to take a risk and step out, much like John said, and just take that step of faith. But in that, you also have to have some sense of business. We always joke that you can be as good at whatever you are, but if you have no idea how to run a business, you'll never do well. So there is a balance of loving something and having a knowledge of how to pull it off. I think that's why we make a good team, because part of his success is pursuing the things he loves and handing out the things he doesn't like to do, and giving me those things that I like to keep track of the details, and knowing where your boundaries are and what you're good at, and then finding somebody to support you in the areas that you're not so good. And I think the other aspect is having somebody to encourage you, because it's not always easy to step out in that, in faith and do that. You kind of need that encouragement.
Support groups, I mean, support people.
Right.
And the support system
Yeah.
even.
And I think the other aspect with being successful and going out of business is thinking through a goal and a plan, but always being willing to be flexible when another door opens that maybe you weren't expecting, so that you can go through that and find just another aspect that you hadn't even known was there.
Sure.
And being willing to just try something new. And I think that's what has been amazing with this business. Is it started with building models and drafting and renderings, and it's built into now complete custom homes, to the point that another door opened and he was able to write a book. And so it's been fun to see how the different doors have opened and allowed him to express the gifts he has in different ways.
Excellent.
And I would add to that you know, what would I say to a young person that is looking to become an entrepreneur? And to me, as I think of the word entrepreneur, I think of somebody that chooses to enter the marketplace on their own. It's
Okay.
not just about having an innovative idea or an innovative product to introduce to the market, but you're just choosing to compete on your own basis.
Sure.
Another piece of advice would be really evaluating where you can compete. You know, where is there a place in the market that you can place value into? In other words, I think of the book product and starting the publishing company to publish the book. I started the publishing company because I wanted to write the book, and I wanted to publish it on my own. And now, a year and a half removed from that, you know, I read that there's over 1,100 books published in the United States every day. So what strikes me is, do I really want to compete in that market?
I see.
I mean, I am small potatoes into a market like that. So I have to now step back and really evaluate, do I want to compete in something that is just a big market? And maybe not, maybe not, and I'm still deliberating over that. But it's important to evaluate that, I think.
Well, John and Alicia, thank you very much. You have so much to share, and I hope you'll come back another time. Maybe we can do step 2 of Renfro Design. This is Tinker with Youth Enterprises. Thank you.